Samuel. The computer.
Isn't it exciting to be at the forefront of shaping the future of Singapore's medical landscape? The SUTD-Duke-NUS Special Tracks presents just that right opportunity that allows me to better understand and appreciate future healthcare challenges. Looking beyond the traditional role of being a medical doctor, it is simply fascinating to think about what the future has in store for us.
I think the union between engineering and medicine is a very important one, because as diseases become more and more complicated, the technology we have today wouldn't be able to help alleviate these problems. So this wouldn't only apply to diseases like cancer or other critical diseases, but it could also apply to things like how my grandma has a big fascination scar, whereas most kids nowadays, you don't even see the scar as much anymore.
I aspire to become a clinician scientist, a doctor who does research. The design-centric engineering curriculum at SUTD and the research-focused medical program at Duke-NUS will provide me with the versatility to shuttle effectively between bedside and benchside.
This program is a great opportunity for me to pursue my interests in both data analytics and medicine. Also, I believe that it will equip me with the knowledge and skill sets necessary to apply these two fields in a complementary manner. For example, the use of data analytics can allow for more informed decision-making in hospital operations, thus ensuring better and accessible healthcare for all.
I wanted to go beyond just caring for the patient. That's why I chose this program, to make an impact on medicine through technology as well. I believe that it is the engineer's mindset that pushes one to be creative in tackling the complexity of today's healthcare issues, and I hope to harness their tools to translate technological innovation to the bedside.
During one of my medical internships, a doctor actually shared with me a quote about their role, which is to cure sometimes, treat often, and comfort always. This has drawn me towards the medical industry, but I knew I wanted to do something more for my patients. Through this program, I'm able to be a practicing clinician as well as help others through healthcare innovation. This has enabled me to fulfill my passion in healthcare and engineering, as well as contribute so much more towards the healthcare industry.
During your time at SUTD, you'll be able to work with clinical mentors, we'll provide additional support and guidance. You'll have access to some of our facilities, and also there'll be prep courses where you can come and get an early taste of what the medical course will be like. But perhaps even more importantly, you'll be working with real clinicians, real doctors. You'll be working in an engineering and educational context, but you'll be applying your engineering skills in a healthcare context. In your pillar year at SUTD, you'll follow the healthcare engineering design track thread, and that will give you opportunities for summer internships. You'll work with clinicians, you'll be able to work with health product manufacturers and explore some of the opportunities in terms of where engineering and healthcare meet across a wide range of industries. You'll then also have the opportunity when you come to study with us through the MD programme. We have a unique curriculum at Duke where you study the basic science of medicine in the first year, you start your clinical studies in the second, and then we have a unique third year which is a research orientated year where you'll have an extended period of time, 6 to 9 months, to really focus on a healthcare related research project. You'll graduate with a degree, a Bachelor of Engineering or a Bachelor of Science from SUTD, and then when you come to Duke-NUS Medical School you'll graduate with an MD degree which will allow you to practice and register as a clinician in Singapore.
In today's world, technology and design are very important and powerful for improving our life. Design innovation for drug delivery, healthcare architecture, healthcare system, even 3D printer of human organ. Healthcare has been identified as one of the key thrusts for next phase of growth of SUTD. In curriculum, we have this global health technology which open to all students. In the engineering product development, students who are passionate about healthcare can pursue healthcare engineering product design. There are other opportunities for students to pursue research, internship, overseas exchange, as well as capstone in the healthcare area. Depending on your aspiration and also by combining all these different opportunities, I'm very sure that SUTD will provide different pathways for you to pursue your interest in healthcare at SUTD here. And this will allow you to become a clinician innovator, for instance, also clinician engineer, clinician scientist, as well even start out a new company through entrepreneurship, which is a hallmark of SUTD design innovation and design thinking. With the power of technology and design, we can create next breakthrough in healthcare.
Hello everyone, welcome to SUTD's Open House. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to share with you a little bit more about the SUTD-Duke-NUS Special Track program. So my name is Xiao Juan, and as the program director, I hope to give you a little bit more clarity into what you can expect with this program coming into SUTD. And we will also hear from the Associate Director of Admissions from Duke-NUS, as well as some of our special track students. So you get a more holistic idea of what this program is about. Okay, so I'm really excited to share about this program with you because I remember I was in your shoes a long time ago, and I was trying to decide. I took triple science. I was trying to decide basically, should I go into medical school as most of my classmates did, or something else. And at the time, I decided I wanted to go into biomedical engineering and develop some of the tools which the clinicians use in their practice. So there wasn't this track available for me today, but for you, you have that option, okay? So I wanted to share with you this unique pathway, and hopefully this is something which appeals to you and meets kind of some of your interests. All right, so this slide shows some of the healthcare pathways available to you here at SUTD. I'd like to highlight the third one here. Okay, so this is the Duke-NUS Special Track, which we have designed specifically for those of you who are interested in pursuing a career in medicine, but at the same time interested in learning more about biomedical technologies, for example, as well as design innovation in order to make more of an impact, okay, in medicine. So what's the objective of our program? So I'll start with this. Right, so the goal of this program is to nurture future, what we call clinician innovators, with a very strong foundation in engineering, architecture, and these other technical areas, who can think creatively and at the same time work across disciplines to better treat patients and to also drive medical innovation. Okay? So if this appeals to you, then this might be the program for you, okay? So let me share with you a little bit more details about what this program entails. So as you can see, in this program, we are accepting students from A levels, IB, or Poly Diploma. And you'll come join us in SUTD, where you'll spend 8 terms pursuing your Bachelor's of Engineering or Bachelor of Science degree with us. And following that, you would move on to a 4-year Doctor of Medicine program at Duke-NUS. So I'd like to highlight, that big asterisks in red, is that this program offers conditional admission to Duke-NUS. And again, the final admission is contingent on your academic performance and other criteria, which we will touch on later on, okay? So first, to just give you an overview of the timeline, all right? So you have a better sense of what the educational journey at SUTD might look like. In blue, we have the SUTD portion of the curriculum, and in yellow, we have the Duke-NUS portion. So as you can see, in about term 6 of your SUTD curriculum, you would apply to Duke-NUS and you would get your acceptance. You would learn whether or not you are accepted. And then you would begin at Duke-NUS if accepted in the July of your 5th year, okay? And we have a variety of degree programs available to you here at SUTD. I've just listed them here. So we have architecture and sustainable design. We have design and AI. We have engineering product development, engineering systems and design, as well as information systems and design. So you can find out a lot more about these, the rest of our open house program over the weekend, okay? So apart from your degree program, we offer many different opportunities for you to grow, okay, to learn about design and innovation. And I've just listed a couple of different programs that are available to our undergraduates here at SUTD. So these include workshops and activities for you to gain awareness and interest in healthcare, as well as a number of carefully designed healthcare courses which aims to increase your technical knowledge in solving real-world biomedical problems. We also offer many research opportunities for our undergraduates to work with our faculty or to work with clinical mentors, okay, to solve real-world problems, okay? And of course, we have our internship programs. So in the summer, you go out, work in industry, and get real-world experience. We have Capstone, which is a final year project. So you'll work with your peers from other pillars, okay, to develop a solution to real-world healthcare problems. And we also offer opportunities for entrepreneurship. There are several competitions and courses and workshops available to you here as well. So the students will also share about the various overseas exchange opportunities available to our students later on, okay? So I don't have time to go into all of this. I hope, just to kind of highlight to you that there are many ways in which we kind of prepare you here at SUTD to, for your journey in design innovation, okay? So one thing, as a special track student at SUTD, of course, besides the program director, myself, who will advise you throughout your educational journey, we also provide you with a number of other mentors during this time that you spend with us. So you will be assigned an SUTD faculty mentor upon admission to SUTD, and your technical mentor can advise you on any of your academic matters, as well as point you in the various research directions that you may be interested in. You will also be assigned to a SingHealth clinician who will serve as your clinical mentor starting from term 4. So you will meet with your clinician mentor regularly, and together you will work on your portfolio towards your Duke-NUS application. And finally, in SUTD, you are surrounded, okay, by a number of fabulous faculty in engineering, architecture, design, and you have access to our clinical partners, okay, with experience in clinical medicine, surgical medicine, emergency medicine, whatever you may be interested in. So in the next slide, I just show a snapshot of the healthcare research faculty here at SUTD. So many of these faculty are more than happy to support our undergraduate students in various research opportunities, including the Europe program that I mentioned earlier. So besides our SUTD faculty, we also have very strong partnership with Changi General Hospital. And in fact, we have several adjunct faculty from Changi hospitals, as you can see on the left. And since this is a collaboration, we also have a number of SUTD faculty with CGH designations. So this facilitates a lot of crosstalk and a lot of educational and research partnerships between the two institutions. We also have a Health Tech Innovation Fund. So this provides funding to faculty from both institutions that would like to collaborate on a research project. So as of the 31st of March 2019, our partnership with Changi Hospital has actually resulted in 14 invention disclosures and 5 patents. And we actually have 1 product that has been licensed and brought all the way to market. So that's been very successful. So we have a number of educational and research collaborations with Changi, including our course projects, capstones, internships, Europes. We have invited talks, design challenges, and many other mentorship opportunities available. So this slide just gives you a snapshot of some of the projects which are co-mentored by an SUTD faculty and a Changi faculty. Okay, so for example, our students have developed lung simulation models. They have developed wearables for biosensing, and we've also developed some sort of an automated outpatient system for the CGH pharmacy, right? We've also worked with them, given the current climate, on various interesting programs for our students, such as this SUTD CGH COVID-19 Virtual Ideation Challenge, which was run in June last year. Okay, so we actually had a number of webinar sharing sessions by CGH clinicians who are present at the front lines of COVID-19, and they shared with us what a virtual 360 tour and videos of the A&E department, the isolation wards, as well as some of the testing facilities for COVID-19. And what our students contributed were really ideas on how to solve some of the pain points, some of the problems that emerged at the front lines of the war against COVID-19. Okay? So this is an example of how the two institutions work together very closely to develop meaningful and impactful education and research opportunities. All right, so finally, if you're interested in this program, I would invite you to apply. Please note that the program is open only to Singapore citizens and Singapore PRs. Admission is highly competitive, and here we list a number of traits and qualities that we look for in our aspiring clinician innovators. So if you are shortlisted, you will be invited to a special track applicant day, where you will be jointly interviewed by faculty from SUTD and clinicians from Changi Hospital. Okay? So thank you very much. I'd like to pass the mic over to Prof. Wee, who is Associate Dean of Admissions, Recruitment and Financial Aid from Duke-NUS Medical School, to share with you a little bit more about the Duke-NUS program and also what they're looking for in potential candidates for this program. And following Prof. Wee's sharing, we have 2 students here, Abu and Divya, from Batch 1 and Batch 2 of our special program respectively, who will talk to you about their experience. All right, so thank you very much. I'll pass the time over to Prof. Wee.
Okay, thank you, Xiaoyuan. Thank you for inviting me to be here at SUTD to share with you the Duke-NUS component of this special pathway. And as Xiaoyuan has said, you'll be hearing from 2 of the students currently on this particular pathway to understand why they chose this and what they're learning from the program itself. So my name is Lucian. I'm a surgeon by background, and I'm currently Associate Dean for Admissions at Duke-NUS. But I'm also a consultant surgeon at SingHealth, of which Changi is part of. So some of you may already know that there are different pathways to medicine. You probably are very familiar because having gone through JC or pre-U or poly, you will know that you're preparing yourself for medicine. You tend to want to go to undergraduate medicine to do what is called the MBBS program, a double bachelor's degree, a Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. And this in Singapore can be done through NUS Medicine or through NTU Lee Kong Chian School of Medicine. But some of you may not know that there actually is a graduate medical entry school in Singapore started in Duke-NUS in 2005. And this is where you enter medicine only after having achieved a first degree prior to studying medicine. Now, this partnership between Duke and NUS is something that was quite novel at that time. It was started in 2005 as an impetus from our government to create a special breed of doctors. I mean, NUS, where I came from, obviously produced very good doctors that have served the country very well. But we knew that if you wanted to change things in healthcare practice, you need to combine doctors who can make a difference, who have some prior background, be it in engineering or design or architecture or science. So the partnership with Duke and NUS was to create this special breed. Now, the mission for Duke-NUS, if you don't already know, as Xiao Juan mentioned earlier, was to produce not just doctors, we call them clinicians, clinician first, but also to produce clinicians plus as a follow-on. And this clinician plus can be a variety of individuals who are becoming clinician scientists, scholars, leaders, and of course you heard about clinician innovator, which is the peculiar track that belongs to the SUTD-Duke-NUS pathway. Now, this cartoon which I've drawn here may give you a better idea of what this actually means. Every product that we produce through Duke-NUS aims to be a clinician first. Right at the heart of every product, every student that graduates through us will be a doctor who will see patients well and treat them well. But we expect our graduates to also become one of the 5 spokes that you see here, if not more of them. So for example, if you are someone who is always in front of your class, leading, you're aspirational, you're charismatic, you're dynamic, then perhaps you can become a clinician leader. If you're someone who likes engineering, you play with Lego, you build Gundam toys, you think differently from others, you try and find solutions all the time, maybe a bit of a risk taker and a bit entrepreneurial, then you can become a clinician innovator. And of course, the other pathways are there as well. To be honest, many of us clinicians who go on to do other things beyond just medicine will have done one or more of these different spokes that you see here. And we hope that those who join SUTD-Duke-NUS pathway will become clinicians first, clinician innovators thereafter. Now, what is different about the curriculum and why do we want to change this format? The typical undergraduate entry, as you know, is a 5-year program in Singapore. The first 2 years are spent in pre-medical education, the clinical sciences, the basic sciences, and 3 years in clinical medicine, where you spend time with us in the wards to see patients. The typical graduate entry, which is more common in the US and Canada, is 4 years long, with 2 years of preclinicals and then 2 years of clinicals. But in Duke-NUS, the model is peculiar. It's peculiar because to produce a clinician plus, we need to create opportunities for you to engage your own personal development and growth in a particular area of interest that's relevant to you. So for example, if you studied SUTD for the first 4 years and you come to us thereafter, your 3rd year will be spent on a project of your interest in clinical innovation and design. And that's peculiar to you as an individual student. There's no class, it's individual. And that development makes you a special person in the long term. Now, you know, in any university or any course of study, your main area of study is the classroom or the laboratory. This is where you learn your materials from. But in clinical medicine, you can't learn from the classroom or the laboratory. You learn from your patients. They are the source of your learning material, and therefore a strong partnership is very important. With Duke-NUS, the partnership is with SingHealth, that's where I come from, and SingHealth covers the eastern sector, of which Changi General Hospital is a very important part of the cluster. Now, obviously, you know, Changi and SUTD being so close in proximity, they're only about 5 minutes drive away. In fact, you can cycle or even run there. The close proximity allows us to build this close partnership that lets SUTD students spend time in Changi doing projects throughout their 4 years, looking at innovation and design in healthcare setting. And this is the ideal platform and collaboration to build this pathway for clinician innovators. Now, why special pathways, you may ask? In my time, Xiao Chen shared with you that she was a triple science student, so was I. We're quite a generation apart, obviously. But we're both triple science students, and at that time, if you chose medicine, you can't do anything else. My own personal passion since primary school actually was architecture. I like to design things, draw buildings, and build things. But as things have it at the time with NUS, if you choose architecture, you can't do medicine. You choose medicine, you can't do architecture, and you only have one choice. But now with the pathway, I could have chosen ASD and architecture first before going to MD. So it allows this pathway, therefore, was when I went on to become Associate Dean for Admissions in 2016. We started this pathway to allow someone like yourself who is keen on double passions with more than one interest to pursue your separate passions. And it makes you a special breed of doctor in the end, because after your completion of the SUTD program for 4 years, with your degree of Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Engineering, and you come on to the MD thereafter, you can become a strong clinician plus individual. Along the way, of course, in the 4 years with SUTD, you'll be seeing clinical mentors from SingHealth and Changi who will be guiding you, teaching you, and also sharing with you ideas about how to look at healthcare from the engineering design perspective. And that's a very good start to the long-term career progression for yourself. Of course, we want the best and brightest like yourself who are listening in today. If we can give this pathway to you, you won't be going to study overseas. We have seen in the past many bright students who have gone overseas to study and come back, or sometimes they don't even come back. So hopefully with this pathway, many of you who are bright individuals will choose this and stay on to become Singaporeans' best and brightest in healthcare. Now, this special pathway, as Xiao Chen shared with you, is one where we're giving you a conditional admissions. I know for some of you in the audience who are listening in are parents, just like me with my own children. We're always worried about reassurances and guarantees. If I don't choose medicine as an undergraduate, will I get in the future? But this particular pathway gives you a conditional admissions guarantee. So what that means is that when you first come in and you apply now to SUTD and Duke-NUS to this pathway, if you get offers from both of us into the pathway, you are conditionally admitted into Duke-NUS MD program for medicine already, provided you meet requirements along the way, which we expect you to be doing as a scholar anyway. So really, this is a reassurance for parents and for you as well, that your chance to do medicine is not taken away from you at all. Now, we do have many tracks that I'm showing you here for conditional admissions pathways. These are special tracks that go on to different types of outcomes in the end for different clinician plus. But I want to highlight the SUTD one primarily, not because I'm here at SUTD, but because it's our strongest program at the moment for producing clinician innovators that we are very proud of. So in this particular program, as you saw earlier from Xiao Chen's slide, you'll be entering SUTD to pursue a Bachelor of Engineering in the 2 different pillars that they have, or the Bachelor of Science component as well. And you can choose any of those 5 pillars that are present there, to then go on after that to the MD program as a conditional transition across. Along the way, of course, there'll be things that you'll be doing that will be supporting you, both from the SUTD side as your direct university, and also from the Duke-NUS side as a supporting partner in this, where we'll be sharing you with things like experiences in healthcare. You'll be joining us in our workshops on different specialties in medicine. You'll be doing shadowing for some of our previous Duke-NUS alumni to see what life as a doctor is like. And of course, our faculty from Duke-NUS and SingHealth, mainly based in Changi, will be working with you as a clinical mentor who will be meeting you every semester and also helping you with hospital-based projects during your term time in SUTD. The highlights I'm showing you here are just some examples of what you'll be going through, and these are provided to you from the SUTD Duke-NUS partnership, because it gives you a different flavor to what medicine is about, and it makes you more prepared to enter a career in healthcare in the long term. Now, I want to stress this particular slide, which is important to understand. This is the progression to the final MD. That means when you finish SUTD and graduate, and you come to the MD program, what requirements must you fulfill at that point of time to enter into the program? Obviously, the conditional admissions is conditional upon you meeting these requirements. Firstly, you need to have a competitive CAP or GPA from your studies in SUTD. And this is important because it indicates how your academic performance has been. We know that when you apply now, you are great individuals who have done well for your A-levels or IB or your poly, and your scores are great. But we need to see the sustenance of this academic excellence throughout your time at SUTD as well, which I'm sure you will be, because when you join the program, you'll be scholars anyway. There is an entrance requirement test called the MCAT prior to admissions to any graduate entry program. This is for consistency across all graduate programs around the world. And we know that if you're a scholar, you should do fairly well for the MCAT as well, and we expect this to be competitive to the incoming class for that year. Now, this thing about meaningful clinical and medical experience that we put down here, the evidence will be seen if you take part in the programs that we will have provided for you already. It is not meant to spoon-feed you, but to open opportunities for you, because we know that many students who want to engage healthcare don't get a chance to enter healthcare to see what it is like. But through this partnership, the SingHealth Duke-NUS platform will provide you with the opportunities to engage and see what healthcare is like. Now, obviously, you know, medicine is a professional degree, and doctors need to be held to high standards in society. And so, for that reason, we expect our students on the pathway to behave themselves well, have fun, of course, in SUTD. When you're here, do well, enjoy your time with your friends, take part in your extracurricular activities, but obviously conduct yourselves with some dignity throughout the time as well. And that should be what we expect from all incoming doctors anyway. And lastly, we expect you to be attending the final applicants day in your final year at SUTD at Duke-NUS. You come over to join us for the interviews, where we want to hear from you, your progression, what you have done so far, and the activities that you have achieved. And that should then get you into the MD program after your time in SUTD. This is to give you an idea of the different pathways that I've shared with you earlier, and where the majority of students have applied to and gotten into. And you can see that they have got different start dates because they start at different points of time. The SUTD-Duke-NUS pathway started in 2018, and we have had a huge number applying to us. In fact, it's our largest program at the moment, comprising 32% of all our students on the Conditional Admissions pathway program. And we are very happy and proud of the partnership with SUTD, because the program itself is innovative. It is designed that when we bring around the world to share with other university partners, they look upon it with such admiration and such interest that we are hopeful that our students will do well. In fact, the very first batch of students from SUTD are just going to join us this year in Duke-NUS in July this year. So we are looking forward to having them come to the school this year. I'm just sharing with you one particular slide here of what a clinician innovator means. I know this term was thrown out earlier by Xiao Juan and myself. In case you don't quite understand, this Rina is one of our very first students from the Duke-NUS cohort. She was an intake of 2007, and she came from a background in biomedical engineering from the University of Michigan in the US. When she graduated after 4 years, she joined me in surgery in SGH, and we did advanced training for her throughout the time of about 5 years with us. But halfway through the training, she decided to take a break. And she said, well, I have an engineering background. I can see some problems in healthcare, in surgery. How can I find answers to those problems through my engineering background? And she then took a year off, which we endorsed and supported. And we put her through a Singapore Biodesign program to learn about design and innovation, spending 6 months in Stanford and 6 months at A-Star. And after that program, she started a company with some of her course mates at that time with 2 different products, and went on to complete advanced surgery training, becoming a consultant now with me in SGH, and also a faculty member at Duke-NUS, and helping out at SUTD to also groom the next generation of clinician innovators. So the pathway is very clear. She's now a surgeon seeing patients, operating on cases, at the same time designing devices and instruments and things that can help advance patient care in the patients that she sees. So with that, as Xiao Juan mentioned, the aim, of course, of this particular pathway, which we are very proud of, is to nurture future clinician innovators like Rina, who can build on their background knowledge of technology and design gained from 4 years at SUTD to treat patients that they are going to see after MD program at Duke-NUS, so they can bring about innovations that will change the lives of these patients. So with that, I'm going to stop here and hand over to Abu Bakar, who is one of our students now, to share with you about his experiences. I hope you have understood the concept of clinician plus, clinicians first. It's a new concept, very new model, but we know that the future of healthcare depends on us being innovative and you being part of the journey as well. So with that, thank you very much for listening to this component of it. I'll hand over to Abu at the moment.
Thank you, Prof. Lucien. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Abu Bakar, and I'm an EPD senior with my specialization in healthcare engineering design. So a little about me, of how I ended up here, is I previously studied in Temasek JC in the science stream. And after going through NS, I came into SUTD in 2018. And I declared my major as EPD. And I have about 4 months left here before I move on to Duke-NUS for graduate medicine. And while I'm so excited to go there, I still have a lot of things I still want to do here in SUTD because there's a lot of projects going on, especially in my final year. So what I do in school, other than the main curriculum of EPD, I also take part in the undergraduate research opportunities program, and the topic of research is pretty interesting and quite unexpected. It's about Animal Crossing. So we are trying to research on why people play and the motivations behind them. And this is not at all related to engineering and technology, but it just goes to show how interdisciplinary things can get here in SUTD. Yeah, so obviously I don't just want to study and work all day, right? So about once or twice a week, I go for my 5th rows, which is CCAs in SUTD. So I'm part of Function, which is a dance club in SUTD, the SUTD Muslim Society, and also a university ambassador. So if you have any questions about SUTD, just feel free to drop me a message and I'll answer them. So my thoughts on being here, in SUTD there's a lot of exciting projects and they come from many different fields. So for me personally, I've taken courses in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, to data science and even creative writing. And SUTD, interesting thing about SUTD is that it has a very small cohort. So, and the curriculum really emphasizes on teamwork and also collaborative learning. So the people here, they're really helpful. And I don't really think it's so competitive, but if there is, it's healthy, good competition. And the professors here are really amazing. Like my Prof. Sao Chen right here with me, who's also my technological mentor. So specifically on my experience in the SUTD-Duke-NUS program, I was able to shadow 2 doctors in SGH cardiology and also CGH sleep medicine during my time here. And I thought it was pretty interesting that while I was very fascinated about how doctors work on the ground and the patient-doctor relationship, I was also constantly thinking of how things could be improved, from the hospital workflows to even treatment devices and mobility aids and the sort. And I think one very valuable aspect of this program is that I have 2 amazing mentors. One is a clinical mentor who is an ENT surgeon in CGH, and also a technological mentor, which is my healthcare engineering professor, Prof. Xia Chen. So they really look out for you and try to advise you in any concerns you may have, be it career guidance or any projects you want to pursue. So other than other exposures that I've been given is, I think most, if not all of us are given the global a scholarship. So I'm a recipient of the Global Distinguished Scholarship, and I was luckily enough, before COVID struck, I was able to go to Stanford University in California to spend my summer there, which is pretty fun. And there's a lot of projects, as I've said before, because it's a design school. As I said, it's a very multidisciplinary program. So I've done AI projects such as kidney stone detections from X-rays, detecting depression from tweets. And as for my major in engineering, I've worked on smart inhalers for asthmatic patients, fall interventions in the hospital wards, to even a robotic toy for pediatric patients. So there's a lot of design aspects in all these projects, and I've really enjoyed them. And I would encourage you to apply, and don't be scared to do so, because there's a lot of amazing things you can do here, and that's really important because you can help the people around you with the skills you've learned in SUTD. Yeah. So next I'll be passing the time to my junior, Divya, who will be sharing about her experience.
Thank you, Abu. So my name is Divya, and unlike Abu, who's a final year student, I'm a term 5 student, and my major is engineering systems and design. And in my coming term, term 6, I'm planning to take the modules to specialize in business analytics and operations research. And as Abu shared that he's from JC, I was from JC as well. I was from Victoria Junior College, where, like Abu was in the science stream, I took physics, chemistry, math, and economics, so PCME at 4H2. And what I would share today is essentially my student life so far with regards to research and internship opportunities, as well as overseas opportunities and my 5th rows or extracurriculars, as well as expanding on my experience as a Duke-NUS special track student. So as Abu shared about research and internship opportunities, and as Prof. Koo shared about her Europe, I also took part in a Europe, and my particular Europe had to do with guidelines and design opportunities for impact of assistive technologies, where we focused on elderly patients and how we could reduce their fall risk at homes through collaborative and community device creation. Additionally, I also worked on an industrial research project with an SUTD professor, Dr. Liu Xiaokang, where we focused on fluorescence spectroscopy as a method of detection for adulterated or gutter oil. Both of these projects had to do with SUTD professors, and I really learned a lot from it that I don't think I would have been able to get out of a regular, just a class experience. So I think that there are a lot of opportunities to collaborate with professors in SUTD, and if you're not happy or you haven't found a particular project that resonates with you, you can always propose one and find someone who will want to work with you. So I think regardless of your particular interest, there's always something that you can explore and learn from in SUTD, and I think that in this really collaborative mindset in our school is really helpful for anyone who wants to explore their future interests. And as for overseas opportunities, in freshman, which is your first year, actually all students get the chance to go for a fact trip if you want to apply. And for my particular course, I actually applied for a fact trip to Indonesia, which was the Airlangga University, which was based off of a biology module that actually Prof. Koo was teaching us about. It was very interesting. But I also, along with going to the university, we were also intending to go for a hospital visit. We would shadow doctors, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic and health concerns, we were unable to go. As Abu shared, I was also able, I wanted to go for the Stanford University, but again, the pandemic hit, so I was unable to do so. But in my coming term, term 6, I'm planning to go for exchange at the University of Waterloo. So as I've said, there are a multitude of overseas opportunities for all students with regards to both internship opportunities and otherwise. So if you want it, it's up for grabs. And in regards to 5th rows, which is our co-curriculars, I actually joined 8 5th rows when I first joined SUTD. So there's really a lot you can do. But I think the core ones that I really, really enjoyed were judo, that I go for to this day, volleyball, that I'm going for later, and as well as UniY. And UniY was essentially an OCIP, an overseas trip where we went to Myanmar to build water purification systems and teach the children their English, healthcare skills, everything that they needed. And it was very eye-opening because really all these opportunities you wouldn't have gotten. And regardless, if you're not in your first year, you can still join a new 5th row. So there are no liabilities for you, and you can do whatever you want. So specifically focusing on my experience as a special track student, I'll be sharing about 3 main aspects: the healthcare design talks, my exposure, and support systems. With regards to healthcare talks, there are a multitude of things you can go to with regards to whatever your interests are. We went to one at Ng Teng Fong and Jurong Community Hospital, which had to do with hospital design. So I focused more on the layout of the wards and how you can use space and location to actually further improve the healthcare conditions and the patients. The second one we went to was a healthcare symposium at Changi Hospital. I think we've talked a lot today about our collaboration with Changi Hospital, and this experience really taught us a lot because we got to hear from industry leaders and those who really knew what was happening in the world of healthcare. So Prof. Koo and her team likes to always suggest to us industry talks and conferences that we can go for. So whatever your interests are, whether it's AI or otherwise, you'll find something that you can learn from. And an example of that was actually the hospital shadowing that we were able to do at Changi Hospital. Abu mentioned sleep medicine, but what I actually went for was the Changi Simulation Institute, and I went to see the ward rounds and clinics at the renal medicine side. So it's very interesting, and on top of that, we actually engaged in a hackathon where we picked up problems that we had learned after shadowing, and we tried to innovate a solution. So I think this really gave us insight into clinical research, because previously the research that we've done is primarily scientific in nature. So I think if you're intending to go into medicine in the future, it's a very valuable lesson for you. And lastly, with regards to support systems, I too have a clinician and technological mentors. You have faculty mentors with regards to when you join your pillar. You have one when you join in your first year, and then you have those that you see at times. So I think regardless of whatever you want to do, there's always help that you can find, and there are always people to support you. So I really hope you consider SUTD and the Duke-NUS track. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Divya, thank you, Abu, and thank you, Prof. Wee, very much for your sharing. So I hope you found our sharing today helpful, and that you have a better understanding of what this special program is about, as well as a glimpse into the vibrant student life here at SUTD. So we have a little bit of time left, so we thought maybe we'd take some questions. Feel free to send us your questions, and we will answer as many as we can, okay? So the first question that we have is, how and when will I receive a firm offer from SUTD-Duke-NUS? So maybe I'll take this question first. So when we receive your application, of course, we will go through the regular admissions process. And for students interested in the special program, we will actually invite the shortlisted candidates to the special track admissions day. So as I mentioned earlier, this admissions process will be joint. You will have interviewees both from SUTD as well as from CGH or Sing Health. Okay, so following this special track admissions interview, which will be run in end March and early April, so a couple weeks after that, along with your SUTD offer, you should receive this conditional admission offer for the SUTD-Duke-NUS program. So if you're asking about when you will know about whether or not you receive your final admission to Duke-NUS, that would be in term 6 of your time with us here at SUTD. So I believe that would be in spring of your 3rd year here at SUTD. Okay, so thanks. Oh yes, this question, very popular. Yes, you see all these opportunities available and how the curriculum, all that packed into 8 terms. So the question is the curriculum for the special track very taxing? Do the students in the special track still have time to take part in other school activities? So Divya and Abu?
I guess I can take that question, being the pioneer batch. I think we still have some time to pursue our other interests. And the curriculum in SUTD is really quite packed, but it's also very interesting. But then if you have really good time management, you definitely have time to pursue your other interests. Like for example, I still can go for my CCAs 2 times a week at least. And on the weekends, I also volunteer to mentor primary school kids at a local school. And like I don't think I sleep really late at night, like midnight thereabout, which is like much earlier than I did during JC time. So I think you still have a lot of time to pursue your other interests for sure. Yeah, and in SUTD, a lot of our students also have more than 1 CCA, and this includes all the special track students in my batch and perhaps in your batch also. Yeah.
So I'm inclined to add on, as Abu said, I don't find it particularly taxing. I think as long as you understand the material and you're invested, I think you'll fully get what you want out of the lessons. And if you have other interests, then I think you'll find a way to manage them however you have to. So I think that we do have sufficient time, and I think if you come, you'll find that too.
Yeah, Divya, you mentioned you had 8 fifth rows. I don't know how you did that, but all right. All right, so next question. Is there an estimate of when the interviews for admissions will be held? Yes, so again, this is a very important question. So our special track admissions days is currently scheduled to be held in end March and early April. Okay, so any shortlisted candidates will receive an invitation to this special day, special track interview within the next couple weeks, I believe. Yeah? Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, do students who took H2 biology instead of physics in JC find it difficult to cope during the first few months? How does biology complement the program at SUTD? So maybe I'll have the students answer the first part of the question, and then, did any of you take H2 biology?
No, I think both of us took physics and chemistry.
All right, so maybe I'll just finish up by talking about my experience with students. So I teach first-year students. Actually, I've taught first-year students for the past 8 years here at SUTD. So we have students coming in from Poly, we have students coming from JC and from IB programs. Okay, the students who come in with H2 biology, they express concern to me, but we actually give these students an opportunity to transition to SUTD by making the first term pass-fail. Okay, so we actually want, we kind of give them that free pass in the first term, and at the same time we provide as much support as we can on the faculty side to ensure that the students are able to cope with the curriculum. Okay, so for example, we have progressive learning sessions in our freshman classes. These are weekly help sessions that students can go to for additional questions and to consult faculty on, again, we have perhaps 500 students coming in. The 500 students are divided into cohort classes of about 50 students each, and we place at least 2 instructors per subject into each cohort class. So this way, even during a lesson, while an instructor is conducting a lesson, there is a supporting faculty at the back of the classroom able to answer questions or able to address any of these student concerns during the class itself. Okay, so we understand that the backgrounds of all the students coming in are slightly different, and we do our best to provide a safety net and a support structure for all students. Okay, so maybe Abu, and do you want to talk a little bit about your cohort class experience, and you felt, you know, if you were able to, how was the transition into SUTD?
Perhaps I can start. I spent 2 years in NS, so I definitely forgot a lot of the things I've learned during JC time. But then I found that in SUTD, the curriculum, it starts from the basics, so it's like really introductory for everyone. So like you definitely won't really feel lost, even if you've never taken the subject before. Yeah.
And I think to add on, there's physics in our curriculum, but there's also biology as well. And I think as a physics student who has dropped biology since secondary 2, it still wasn't too hard for me, I think, because they teach it very systematically, and it's very easy for you to cope. And you always have friends who do know that you can always talk to if you don't intend to approach your teachers. My prof was Prof. Koo, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot. So I think that even if you do not have physics or you do not have biology regardless, I think that you will find it quite easy to cope. There is help if you need it, but regardless, there's always a way.
Yeah, I would like to add that the students also are like family, so they actually help each other. So the students that take physics actually help the students without the physics background, and they form their own study groups and all of that. Okay, so I think that's all the time that we have for today. So thank you again, Prof. Wee, thank you, Abu, and thank you, Divya. Okay, I hope that you found today's session informative, and please feel free to reach out to us with any more questions. All right? So thank you for joining us, and please tune in to the rest of the open house program this weekend. Thank you.